So we just started recording. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming to the last of our first year panels. So today's panel is focused on life sciences, which is very broad. So we're glad to have a lot of different panelists today. And I'll let them introduce themselves in a second. But just so you guys know, if you can't stay for the full session, we are recording it and posting it on YouTube, hopefully by today or tomorrow. So before course selection, so if you really can't stay today, that is always an option. So we can just get started with introductions. So whoever wants to go first.
I can go. Okay, so hi, I'm Danae. I am a third year in physiology and neuroscience, and I'm actually from Mexico, so I'm an international student. So if anybody has any questions about being an international student at UFT, you can also ask me.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashitija, or you can call me Ash for short. And I'm a third year student. I'm majoring in human biology with a double minor in physiology and immunology. And yeah, my aim is basically to be a doctor. So if you have any questions regarding the medical field, you can definitely ask me.
I can go next. My name's Sarah, and I'm currently in my fourth year doing a double major in physiology, neuroscience, and a minor in psychology. And I want to pursue careers in biomedical science research as well as like in the medical field. So if you have any questions related to that, you can feel free to ask me.
And okay, so I'll go next. Hello, my name is Filzah. I'm a fourth year student specializing in life sciences, typically in biology, hoping to graduate this year. And I'm a commuter, so you can ask anything about that.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. So the first question we have is, what courses did you take first year?
Right. Go, yeah.
You want to go first?
Sure. So basically, first year is kind of really planned out because obviously new students are coming in and it's kind of hard to go around courses. For life sciences, the basic courses that you really do have to take, because they're prereqs for the rest of your courses, are Bio 120, Bio 130. Then there's Physics 131, Physics 132, Chemistry 1, I don't remember the course code.
135 and 136.
36. And then there's Maths 135 and Maths 136. And there are some ups and downs between which ones you can do or can't, but that's if you have your program already chosen. So there's like tons of programs, like for human biology, as I did, turns out that I did not need Maths 136, and I could have dropped it later on. So there are things like that, or maybe physics you don't need, but that's only if you know what program you're going to take. So I would rather recommend taking all the prereqs, because then, you never know, you might change your mind. You want a different program, and if you want a different one, then you need the prereqs. So it's best that in first year you do take these.
Yeah, definitely. And also for math and physics, sometimes for post, they only ask for one or the other. But if you are thinking about going into medicine later, I would suggest taking both because most schools ask for both. But also you can take, if that's a possibility for you, you can take it over the summer. But if not, you can just take all the courses at the same time, even though it might be a little heavy because there are a lot of lab courses since physics also has like practicals. But if you took them in high school, even if you didn't take them in high school, they're like, you can pretty like handle all of them at the same time. So we just recommend doing all of them at once in your first year.
Yeah, just to add on that, the most heaviest courses out of them all is basically chemistry, especially organic. So if you're about to take Chem 136, I would definitely recommend that you prepare for it well. And you're going to have to spend a lot of time practicing the questions because it's very important. And the labs are also kind of tricky. Like labs are more harder for chemistry 135. And for physics, I would say the labs are more fun, especially for the winter semester courses. But still, you need to allot time for everything and don't take it as high school. That is very important. These courses are very different. As much as the content seems the same as high school, they're not the same. And the tests are definitely trickier. So practice is really important. And if there's a course that you feel like in midway, you feel that you're not doing well or you're not ready or something, or your marks are not good enough, especially if you're going to med school because you need to maintain a high GPA, then I would definitely recommend taking the course in the summer, because courses tend to be slightly easier in the summer, along with the fact that many med schools do not consider your course mark that's taken in the summer, basically. But you need to also be sure that you're not taking a prerequisite in the summer, because for med schools, you need to have the prerequisites, and if you take it in the summer, sometimes they don't count it. So take into account all the factors before you make a decision.
And one last thing, if you do get credits from high school, from IB especially, I know that, for example, if you get chem, you still have to take chem for your program of study later on to get into it, because it's a prerequisite for other courses. But then your mark doesn't count. So maybe take that into consideration, because I didn't get any credits, but I could have, and I didn't do it. So all my grades from first year counted. But if you're worried about your grades, then definitely look as soon as possible into transfer credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we good for this question?
Yeah, we can go on.
So the next question is, what are breath requirements and how early should I start thinking about it?
Okay, so breath requirements are basically an opportunity for you to be able to take a lot different courses in different subjects outside of your main field. And basically you just have to complete them before you graduate, but obviously like the earlier you can finish them, the better. So personally, I tried to finish them within my first 2 years of university, so I didn't have to think about them later on. But yeah, as long as you do them before you graduate, it's fine. And if you search up on Art Science timetable, you should be able to find the 5 categories of breath courses. And so there's 2 options. You can either do at least 1 FCE, which is 1 full course credit equivalent in 4 of the 5 categories, or you can do 1 FCE in 3 of the categories and then 0.5 in the other 2 categories. So yeah, personally, I used, like for life sciences, the 4th and 5th requirements are really easy to finish because they're part of your prerequisites anyways. But for the first requirement, I did French as an elective. And then for the second requirement, I did 2 psychology courses. So Psych 100, which is also a life sci requirement, counts for that, as well as another psych course I did. And then I also did for the third one is society and its institution. So I did SOS 100 to fulfill that. So yeah.
For me, I took my breadth requirements throughout my 4 years. Like I didn't do them in my first year, like all of them. This was really helpful for me because then I would have like a bird course every single year. And a bird course is typically like not a really easy course, but something that's like not too content heavy. I'm not too sure if my electives would help you because I transferred from UTM. But what I took was, if you're going to UTM, then I took Physics 100. Be careful about that course, because if you're taking that course, then you won't be able to take any other physics courses, such as Physics 136 or Physics 135. But that elective was pure like bliss. Like that was awesome. I took like I got like a 95% in it without doing much of anything. And then over here in UTSG, I took class 204. That was also pretty easy. And also, okay, so in terms of bird courses, just remember this fact that a lot of them, people would say that they're really easy, but they're typically not that easy, especially because it's U of T. So what you have to do is, if you're good at sciences if you're good in sciences, chances are you might not be so good in writing essays. So you should take courses in science division, as in courses.
And then somebody in the group chat asked a question. So they said the med school website says you are expected to have taken courses at a level corresponding with the year of your program. What does that mean? So I think this is for U of T. I'm not sure if it's for all like Ontario med schools, but I know that for U of T it said you have to take 60% of your courses within the year of your program. So what that means is that if you're, let's say, in second year, 3 out of 5 courses per semester should be like at the 200 level, and so that's what that means.
Yep, absolutely. I also wanted to add something about breadth requirements. I'm a third year and I definitely haven't completed most of my breadth requirements. I tend to take science courses. So my breadth requirement for 4 and 5 just completed randomly, but the rest of them did not. So I will say don't stress too much about it. And honestly, breadth requirements, there's also one thing about it. Take any course that you're interested in, even if it seems cool or whatever. You are allowed to credit, no credit, at least I think 4 courses, because it says 2 FCE according to your ACORN. So if you end up taking a bird course that you're really into, but you don't think you will do very well in, you can always credit, no credit it. It does not matter. Don't stress all about it. And also, since we're going on med school topic, one thing I just want to suggest is make sure you take 5 courses every semester, because that's very important. Yeah, that's it. Oh, one more thing. Psychology 100, I think. That's a course people tend to say it's very birdy or a breath, like you can take it just for fun. Do not. Don't take it like for fun. I mean, take it if you're into psychology. Don't take it if you think it's an easy course. It is definitely not an easy course. Yeah. Okay.
And then another note about just breadth requirements, you could also use transfer credits towards fulfilling your breadth requirement, and you just have to look for on Degree Explorer what that like transfer credit counts for if you wanted to do
that. Okay, are we good for this question then?
Yeah.
So the next question is, what are some things to keep in mind when planning your course schedule?
So I think the most important is like when you like you schedule your tutorials and your labs. At least that was for me. And this year it might not be as important because a lot of courses are going to be online, but also where your courses are, because if you have to run from one side of campus to the other one, you will not make it in time. You get 10 minutes in between courses, but the campus is very large and going from one side to the other, like back to back, can be tiring. And so I would recommend looking into, for your in-person courses, if they're back to back, look where the your course is. You can look up on the U of T map online. But definitely for labs, I try to schedule them later in the week because that way I get more time to work on my on the report or the pre-lab report that you have to do, or like work that you have to do, because it's very, very important that you actually put the work in for labs, because every single lab is graded and it comes with a quiz, especially for chemistry. Not as much for bio, but you still have to study beforehand. So if you don't want to rush things and you want to take more time than the weekend, then I would definitely suggest putting your labs later during the week. And try not to put too many courses back to back.
Right. Okay. One more thing. For planning courses, like I just said, for med school, definitely take 5 courses every semester. It's a mistake I made that I didn't take it in one semester, especially for U of T med school. They have a thing where a lot of med schools have this tendency to drop your lowest marks, but the condition is that you must have taken at least 4 full course load. That's especially for U of T. They drop your lowest, I think they drop your lowest 4 courses if you took a full course load every year. The mistake I made was when I searched full course load, usually on the internet it says like 3 courses is considered a full course load, but that's like a full term. That's not exactly full course load according to med schools. According to them, it's 5 courses per semester. So a total of 10 courses in every year. And also, yeah, like you said about the timing, I had a friend who basically took an English course that was in Victoria College. And right before it, we had chemistry and earth science building. And she had to run from earth science all across Queen's Park to Victoria College. And she'd miss half of the class. So seriously, make sure you know your location. It's kind of hard in first year because you are not used to the campus. You haven't seen where every place is, most of you, I guess. So, and it doesn't matter even for this year because a lot of the courses are not in person, but usually it is, and you might want to work on checking the locations before. And if you're like, you're not sure, then definitely ask people. And any upper year, you can message even any of us literally, and we'll tell you if your schedule is on right or stuff. Yeah, that's about it.
And one last thing, if you're an international student like me and cannot afford summer school, then you will have to take 5 courses, so a full course load every semester. So when you pick your courses, make sure that you know that you will be able to handle all of those. So try to go for maybe one that's easier, because if you drop it, then you won't have enough credits to graduate in 4 years, and you will have to take summer school. So make sure that you will be able to keep all those 5 courses throughout the semester.
Right. Adding to that, something that I do, I take 6 courses every semester now. And the reason for that is because if during the year, some way along, I find that a course I'm not going to do well in, I can't afford to have a B or a C grade right now. So what I do is that I can drop that course and still have 5 courses left, which means a full course load. So I take 6, but 6 is not easy to handle. So what I do is I take 4 of my normal courses or 3 of my normal courses. And then the other 3 or 2 are literally bird courses or courses that are lighter. And you figure that out from Reddit and stuff. So literally before taking a course, first year is kind of planned out. So you don't really have an option. But second, third, fourth year, you have a lot of options. You have your programs to choose from and everything. And the best way to choose is to go on Reddit, go on U of T bird courses or any page there, ask there, or literally search the internet, how hard is this course? And you're going to get a list of answers from people that have already taken it, and consider what they said before taking the course, because honestly, they're pretty much accurate. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind when you're planning your courses.
Somebody actually has a question in the group chat. So they said, in terms of schedule, is there anything like taking lectures before tutorials and practicals or something like that? So I know for first year, it didn't matter whether your like lab or tutorial was before the lecture for that week or after, but for some people you might prefer it because sometimes what you learn in the lecture can help you with your practical or your tutorial, but there's no requirement or anything like that. So.
Yeah, wait, one thing for that is usually labs work 1 week after your course material. So you don't really have to worry about that a lot. Like I remember in my physics labs, the week before was the material that was getting covered in the lab. So you're not really you don't have to schedule your tutorials before or anything like that. Don't worry about it. Okay, there's another question. Should I take physics 131 and 132 if I go into dentistry? Now I don't plan for dentistry, so I am not very sure of the requirements. I would definitely suggest going online and see, there are different dental schools as well. For medical schools, every school has a different requirement. A lot of them don't ask for what course you want to take. Like U of T Med School is literally like, you need 2 FCE of courses in sciences. They do not specify which course. You can take whatever you want. And then there's like 1 FCE, which means 2 courses in humanities. You can take whatever you want. It does not specify. But then there's U of Ottawa Medical School. They specify that you need 1 organic, 1 general chem, 1 biochem, 1 statistic, etc., etc. So like be careful of the different requirements. You might want to go to individual website, and after going to individual website, check their prerequisites, and if they say physics is needed, then you might want to take physics 131 and 132. But if they say they don't, or if it's not specified, then you don't really have to take it. But also one thing is that a lot of the courses up ahead, if you're going to major in life sciences, they have a prerequisite for taking like physics 131 usually. So you're going to have to check that out too. I would suggest taking physics 131 as well. But also comparatively of the 2, physics 132 is actually easier. So keep in mind everything. Like, you need to check the records and stuff like that before choosing if you want to drop a course or not. And doing your research well is very important. I didn't do it in first year, and I've made a lot of mistakes, if I'm going to be honest. So yeah, check the requirements.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say, can we do the questions at the end? Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people have lots of questions. So, and
Okay,
we
guys,
later on.
put in the chat, and we'll answer every one of them one by one in the end.
Yeah, so just put them in the chat as they come, but they might be answered along the way because we have lots of questions left, so don't worry. Okay.
Also, sorry, can you guys hear me though? Like, I feel like my internet is super unstable.
It's okay for now. We'll let you know.
Okay, cool.
So the next question is, how do you pick your electives?
So for
You can
so
go
for
first.
this one, okay, so there are a number of websites you can use, such as ratemyprofessors.com. I can send you the link if you want to. So there are like a number of websites where you can go and basically see how the course is and how the professor was like. There are also a number of groups on Facebook where you can post or ask about an elective, and the people who have previously experienced it will be able to help you out as well. I think you can also always go to Reddit and post about your elective on the UFT Reddit as well, because that is the one thing that I did. I always like went to Reddit and posted about like whoever took it before. Can you please tell me how the syllabus is, how the course load is, and if it really was easy for you, or like did you enjoy it? And then they would explain to me, because people are actually nice enough to like do all these things for you. So I'd say definitely do that before choosing any elective.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's also, like, as someone else mentioned before, U of T Reddit, they often, like, a lot of people ask about which electives they enjoyed and maybe were bird courses. But I honestly think that, like, electives vary from person to person if they're, like, easy or not. So I would say just choose, like, courses that you're really interested in or seem interesting based on, like, the description. And especially for, like, life science, especially first year, everything's really science and, like, math heavy. So I would say if you want, like, a balance, you might want to, like, choose courses in, like, arts or languages, or and also it helps you, like, fulfill your breadth requirements at the same time. So yeah, that's kind of the strategy I use to pick my electives.
Okay, are we good for this one? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what are some useful resources for choosing your courses or planning your schedule?
Okay, I'll take this first. Acorn, that site is a bit messy, of course. I know that for sure. And in first year, it's kind of confusing, but I'm going to suggest that you click on every tab in Acorn and literally explore it very, very well, because that thing has a lot of features that you don't discover until you're in second year, like me. And okay, so the first one is there's a tab that says Planning Tools. Now, the Planning tool has Degree Explorer. That one you are not going to really have a lot of use in first year because you have not chosen your programs yet. But in second year, the Degree Explorer, it literally lists out your programs and your requirements, and you can literally open each tab that they have there and read every single thing that they have, and you'll know exactly what you need to complete your degree. It's perfect to plan out what courses you should take, what you shouldn't take. It tells you what you're missing, and it tells you what you already have. So that is very, very useful. Another one is GPA Calculator. It's also in the planning tool. It helps you plan out your GPA, especially for medical schools and dental schools. You might want to have like a future prospect of how you're going to work your things out. So, I tend to use that to plan out my GPA. And another thing I'll also suggest is in Acorn, there's an involvement tab on the left side. When you open that, it gives you a whole list of clubs. If you want to join clubs, I suggest definitely join clubs. It is very useful going first year and second year. They're the best way to make friends. They're the best way to join things and have fun, honestly. You can even be club executives. If you have the experience, you can apply for that too. And the best way to find that out is through clubs, which you get an involvement. And there's like a job planning one. When you click the job planning side menu panel, whatever, it opens to CLN, And CLN, when you click on that, you can sign in. From CLN, that website, you can literally find out any research project that's open to applying. You can find out any work study. You can literally figure out any other work on campus, part-time, full-time. They have a whole list of it there. I didn't know that, how to use it till second year. So I would suggest get on early on, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, I think what I use most is Write My Professor, because it doesn't only tell you about the professor but about the course as well, and Reddit. And honestly, the professor makes the whole difference. There are like some courses that have 2 different sections, and each section is done by a different professor. And a good professor will make your experience a whole lot different and will make learning the material a lot easier. So go check out the professor and what people have to say, because if he's also a messy professor and the grading is bad and everything, chances are you're going to struggle a little bit with it. And if you already know, like you have a clear idea of what you want to study, like your major, even though you still have to get like accepted for some of them, you can always go on the Sid Smith Commons webpage, and there's a list of all the arts and science like programs of study that there are. And so if there's one that you know that you're really interested in, then you can start looking at what are the prerequisites that you have to take, so you're sure that at least you have those prereqs done. And also on the course finder, what you can do is just there are like tabs on the side, so you can put like evening courses, or like I want courses that fulfill breadth requirement 1, and so you can filter it, because there's so many courses that you can just go through all of them. So I would suggest using those filters, so it's easier to find like electives or like breadth courses or first year seminars as well.
Yeah, check out the timetable of each year. There's like program search, course search. You can search up any course. It'll tell you the program description. It'll tell you the breadth requirement and also the exclusion. There are some courses at U of T that you cannot take if you've already taken another course. Like for example, AST 251, Astronomy 251. That's a course that I can't take because I took Physics 131 and 132 and Chem 135. And those physics and chem are the exclusion courses. And because I took those, I can't take Astronomy 101, 201. Actually, I'm sorry, I can take Astronomy 251. I can't take Astronomy 101 and 201. Those are considered very birdy courses, especially for science students. And we can't take them, sadly, because we've already taken physics and chem. So check out the exclusion for every course as well. Yeah. Oh, also, does anyone remember the professor for Bio 130? There were 2. There was Melody, and then there was the other one that was really good. Yes. That's right. What was?
Yep. Yes.
Wait, repeat his name again.
Dr. Yip.
Yes, Dr. Yip.
Yeah.
So, bio course, take it with Dr. Yip if there's the option. Okay. Bio 130, there are going to be 2 options. There's a morning course, then there's an evening course. The morning one has Professor Melody Newman for the first part, and then Dr. Yip for the second part of the course. But the evening has Dr. Yip for both parts, part 1 and part 2. And honestly suggesting Dr. Yip, his lecture slides are perfectly made, very clear, and he's literally one of the best professors at U of T. So I think Bio 130 and Bio 230 both are taught by Dr. Yip, some way or the other. So try to fit into his course. Like, that's a suggestion, because he's a very good professor. Because a professor really does make the course. So yeah, beware of that.
And then just for another tip for planning your schedule, I just sent a link in the chat, and basically on there you can create like hypothetical timetables, so you can see if you have any conflicts with any like courses with the timing or with practicals, and it also tells you about like breadth requirements, like if they count for that. And also with things now being like online and in person, it tells you how many spots are available in both. So yeah, that's just a useful tool.
Okay, yes, we can go on.
Okay. The next question is there a best time for labs and tutorials?
So for me personally, for bio and chem labs, it was bi-weekly. So I took them the second week usually, but if it's not available, it's not really an issue. And like Danae said before, I also like taking it later on in the week. And for the timing, usually you can take like the morning or afternoon and evening. And so there's benefits to both, like all three of these options. But personally, since I was a commuter during my first year, I didn't do the 9 a.m. Labs, but I usually did the afternoon ones, which I personally felt like I was like more awake, and maybe I had like a little bit of time to work on the lab report if I had to make some changes. But also like the evening labs are good for that if you want to take more of your day to like make adjustments to your lab report before you hand it in. So I think it's just like personal preference for that.
And I think for me, it's better to have tutorials and labs by the end of the week because having them in the end of the week would allow you to be better prepared for them. Plus, you will be joining the group chats for your courses as well, where you'll be able to get an idea of how the lab went for other people. This would actually better prepare you for any test or lab that you might have during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adding on that, join Facebook groups, guys. It's very helpful. Definitely join them. Sorry, you can go on, yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
So
Okay.
the next question is, how many courses would you recommend per term? Should I take only science-based courses?
Okay, Danae, you can go first, yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're international, again, you're gonna have to take 5. But I know that some people do take 6, and then just drop 1 along the way, in case they can't handle it, or just if they don't know between 2 courses. So you can always do that because I think you have like 2 months to drop a course without it showing on your record. So like you definitely have time. But know that once you drop a course, I think there's only like 1 or 2 weeks before you can enroll in a course after courses start. So like you can't just like hop into another course. So be mindful of that. And for should I take only science-based courses? That is something I've done like 2 semesters already out of my 4. And having all science-based courses is definitely a lot because usually science courses do require a lot of memorization, and especially if you have lab courses, those are a lot of work as well. So if you're scared about the course load, I would definitely recommend having at least 1 non-science-based course, or it could be science-based, but something like a seminar or something that's a little bit easier. But then again, you can definitely do it, especially if you know that you're hardworking. But don't think like, oh, I took these courses in high school, like I can do this, because even though the description sounds like high school, the course itself is not like high school at all. I think the first week might be like high school, but after that, it's not. So we definitely recommend just taking like a variety of courses, and also just helps you like keep like all your skills together, because usually there's not a lot of writing in science courses. So like just having a course like a humanities course like philosophy or something else that where you know that you're going to be writing is good, just so you keep like training your skills and you don't just like start writing like scientific papers all the time.
Yeah, I personally tend to stick to science courses. That's my thing because I'm good in science and I don't know how good I am in writing. Honestly, it scares me because like, you know, the philosophy courses and the English courses and everything, they have writing and they don't have midterms a lot. They have essays to write instead. So it seems scary, but honestly, I don't, yeah, I took 6 courses per semester, like I said, so that I could drop 1 if needed. I just want to suggest if you need to drop a course, drop it. If you want to credit, no credit a course, do that. Don't be scared that, oh my God, what will the school think? What will that think? No, it doesn't show up on your transcript if you do it before a certain deadline or something. The credit, no credit might show up, but it'll just say credit, no credit, and it does not matter as long as you took 5 courses, honestly. And yeah, don't be scared to do that because I remember in Maths 136, personally, I'm not good in maths and I knew that. And I was halfway through the course when I found out that I did not need it for my program requirement. I should have dropped it then. but the personal ego comes in that you don't want to drop something on time, and I did not do that, and I ended the course with a B when I knew I shouldn't have done it. So honestly, for a medical student, a B is like a huge thing, and it gets really messy. But yeah, drop it if you don't need it. Drop it if credit, no credit if you don't need it, or if you're there. It does not matter, seriously. And if you're worried about prerequisites or you're unsure, email the med school admissions. Honestly, I think I've been sending them so many emails by now. They should probably have learned my name, considering all the replies they send me. Don't feel ashamed. Do it. Literally email them anytime you have a question, whatever you want, email them. Seriously, don't be scared. Email the prof, email a student of U of T. No one's ever gonna say no, that I don't want to help you. Just go ahead. Seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one last thing, like take also this as an opportunity to explore other like fields or interests that you've always had, but you just like couldn't like study in high school because like there's only so many courses you can take in high school or things you can learn by yourself. So like there's so many different courses out there. So if you've always been interested about poetry, then like I would suggest taking an English course, and it would also help you fulfill prerequisites if you want to do a minor later on something that's like not science-based. So there's a women in sexuality studies that's like really interesting, and that also correlates with science, and it's like things that you can also implement in your everyday life. So we definitely recommend you to just like look at all the courses you have, and then if there's one that really sparks your interest, then just take it.
Yeah, about that, really. There are so many courses at U of T. There are courses about signs, about symbols. You would never even think about those courses or something. And they're on languages, the history of languages, the origin of languages, total history of evolution. Then there's there's so many, honestly, I can't even count them. So if you have some kind of sparking interest, take it. You can always credit, no credit the course. That is the whole purpose of breadth requirements and the whole purpose of bird courses. You're interested in something, it's the whole reason they gave us 4 courses to credit, no credit. Use those credit, no credits when you think that you're out of your depth, or use them when you're really interested in a course, but you're not sure that you're going to do well in it. Use it there, it doesn't matter. You're going to have fun in the course at least. So that's totally up to you.
And just a note about the credit, no credit and dropping courses, there's usually like a date that they're going to post about when the latest date is that you can drop a course, or the latest date that you can credit, no credit. So make sure you do it beforehand, because I remember like in first year when I took math 136, I wanted to credit, no credit, but it was too late after the second midterm. So make sure you do it before that deadline passes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's also very good practice to like, even before the semester starts, always put down all the dates, all the important dates in your calendar. So as you go along, you'll know that today is the last day for you to credit, no credit, or drop a course. So this is like a really nice practice as well. And one more little tiny tip, if you're like getting in yourself into like a group chat on Facebook or anything like that, make sure that you're using a fake account, because in the past few years I've been seeing this a lot. Even if you're not doing anything in those group chats, but like there's always this one person who's gonna like not always, like I've been in a lot of group chats and there's never been anything like that, but I've seen this a lot and I've heard about this a lot, that there was this one person who snitched. Like, you guys were doing nothing wrong. You guys weren't sharing notes. You guys were just basically talking. So what you need to do is just use a fake account. Think very carefully of academic integrity. Do not share your notes. Maybe share your notes. I think that's fine, but do not share any answers or quizzes or anything like that. And I think you'll be fine. But just to be on the safe side, because the thing is, even if someone else is talking or sharing answers in the group, the professor is gonna hold all of you accountable. So just make sure that, just to be on the safe side, use a fake ID.
Yeah, or even if you don't want to use fake ID, like use your ID, but like refrain from sharing answers, or maybe say it in the group and like in the beginning that, you don't want to participate in sharing answers. You can always ask a question if you're in doubt. That is totally fine. You can even email your professors if you're in doubt, like what does this question mean? But academic integrity is pretty serious at U of T, and you get in pretty much trouble if you're caught sharing answers, sharing reports for chem labs, and everything like that. Maybe discuss like what could possibly be things with your partner that's in your lab, but not in the group in person, like literally out there, because that's just wrong. You know, you can't share answers, and that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, I guess that's okay.
Okay. Next question is, what were your favorite courses and what are some good GPA boosters?
For me, in first year, there was one course that I really, really enjoyed, and that was PSL 190. So it's called Biomedical Research and Discovery, and it's basically like a small, because in first year, like a lot of your courses have like thousands of people or like hundreds of people in them. And this was a seminar course, so there was like about 20 people, I think, and we learned about like, we had different scientists come in, and then they would share their research with us, and then we would like make parts of a report. So it was really interesting. And I would just like suggest definitely taking any type of seminar course if you can in your first year. So there's this thing called ones courses where they're different part of like each of the colleges on campus. They have different ones courses where they're really small seminar courses where you get to like interact with the prof. And usually there's not like tests, it's mostly like assignments and stuff like that. So I definitely think those are one of the more fun courses you can take. And for GPA boosters, I think for first year, like a lot of them you have to take. But if you already know like a language, like let's say you took French in high school, the French, like French 100 or 200 levels, I would say are GPA boosters if you know some of the language already. And then HPS 100 was like pretty easy. I've heard a lot of people say as well. And then like for second year, M250 is a really easy bird course if you're good at like memorizing things, as well as MGY 277 for me.
For me, the some of the GPA boosters that I took was NFS 284. If you're really into nutrition, it's very interesting. Like, it's a very solid chance that you'd be getting like an 80 at least. And I took MGY 270, just like Sarah said. It was really nice as well. And I'm taking MGY 250 right now. I've found it like super easy as well. Not super easy, you have to put in your work, but it's just like, it's interesting enough that you don't really get so bored. And I also took M250. People say that it's really like it's not really that easy. It is really not that easy, but it's just that it is quite interesting that you won't get so bored. And I think it's better than taking other dry or dull courses. So definitely look into that as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah. Courses that I took literally that I took as bird courses were MGY 277. It's literally on microbes, and that course it's pre-recorded. First of all, the videos are just you don't have to attend class or anything. They're gonna give you a module every week, and you can like watch the videos at your own pace. I think that's a benefit of right now it's called asynchronous for this year. Every course that's asynchronous are courses that are pre-recorded. They're gonna send you a module every week, and you can do it at your own pace. The one disadvantage is you tend to slack sometimes with procrastination hits in because you have no class to really attend, but fix yourself a timetable that you're going to do it and do it. But MGY 277 I got 90 in, which was very easy, except for us because it was in person. The whole year it was like assignments and quizzes, which were easy, but then the final exam was literally an exam with every single module put all together, and you got to learn everything. That was the hard part, but I still ended up with a 90 plus, so that's one thing. You need to put in work. Any course that we're going to say here, I'm just going to say they're easy, but they're not going to be easy if you don't work at all, because this is university, and on top of that, this is U of T. They're not in high school anymore that they're going to be like, I could say they're easy, but if you tend to slack or something, yeah, they're not going to be easy. And one problem at U of T, or maybe any university at all, is when you start slacking, you don't think of it much, but then honestly it catches up to you, and then you're like drowning in coursework, and it happens so quickly. Especially, okay, the first month of every semester is going to be a little light because you have nothing. But then the second month and the third month of every semester is full of midterms. It's going to have the first round of midterms. There are going to be labs that are going to be due. There are going to be reports that are going to be due. Then the next month is also, again, you're going to end with one round of midterms, and then the second one starts, and you're not even going to know when that happened. You're like, oh my God, I don't get a break. And then after that, the next month is finals. So seriously, don't slack. Take it when it comes and do it on time. Okay, other courses, NFS 284, definitely an easy course, 80 plus guaranteed if you put in the work. Just gonna say that because I don't want you catching me later. If you don't put in the work, you're not gonna do well, seriously. And then there's IM 250, no bragging, but I got 100 on the midterm one. So like, if you're a science student, it's a pretty easy course if you learn it, honestly, because there are very basic things in that course that you've already probably learned in other courses. For humanities students that I met and the computer science students that I met, they found it hard, because there's a lot of technical words which you need to learn. But I'm just going to say that if you work in it, an 80 plus is guaranteed, and IM 250 as well. Then other courses, ESS 103. That's a course that comes in odd years only, and that's a very, like, it's a light geology course, and that was also fun to take, I would say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't remember, I can't remember exactly any other bird course that I've taken right now. If I do, I'll let you guys know later.
Yeah, I think the like one GPA booster course that I took was CSE 108. And just because I like the summer before, I just tried to learn coding by myself online. So if you have any knowledge, even if it's a little knowledge about coding, you will probably do really good in that course. I know there's a lot of like different opinions on that course, and some find it really hard. But if you just know anything about coding, you'll probably love that course. Also, professors are amazing. There's so many office hours. There's just like 3 assignments during the year, and one midterm and one final exam, and just like a lot of things that you can do, like just exercises that you do throughout the semester that are basically like free marks because it's completion only and like surveys. So like it's not a lot of work. So I would definitely recommend looking into that course. Plus, it's knowledge that I feel like if you're a science student, you should know at least a little bit about coding. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last question is there anything course selection related you've learned now that you wished you knew in first year?
Well, I think I would say definitely one thing that I wish I had done was to try courses outside of my field of study, because there's so many things that I want to take now that I can't because I don't have the prerequisites. But just like to like see other topics and study things that are not like necessarily in like neuroscience or physiology, but that are like related, like bioethics or just other like topics that really interest me. And I wish I had just taken the opportunity to take more like diverse courses instead of being like so concentrated on like, oh, I want to take like IM 215 second year because so many people are taking it. And it's not because a lot of people are taking second year courses in first year that you have to. Like, honestly, it doesn't mean anything. So just like take whatever you want to take. Don't like think about what other people are taking.
Yeah, about that too. First year, like I said, some mistakes I made was I did not take a full course load, like 5 courses each sem. One semester I took 4. And then I learned that when I attended a medical seminar that they said, you need to take 5 every year. And sadly, the deadline had passed for course enrollment, so I couldn't even enter another course even if I wanted to. That's a mistake that I regret very much. So don't do that. Take 5 every semester at least. Especially if you're med school, especially other courses, other programs like maybe grad school or something. I don't think that they need 5 courses each semester, or maybe if you're trying for arts or something, even in that, you don't, necessarily need a full course load. Do what you're ready for, but it's just that you need to know things. And then another mistake I did was, like I said, Maths 136. I did not drop it when I could have. If you're over in your depth, you can always drop it, take it in the summer. You can always no credit it if you don't need it for your program. So do keep that in mind. And one last thing is program selection. That's going to come near the end of first year. I'll be honest, when I started near my first year, and I was going to actually major in biochemistry. That's what I had planned. And I would say that's a big mistake. And that's something a friend of mine made me realize. Not because biochemistry is impossible to do or you can't do it. You can do it if you're interested. Problem was that I had heard that a lot of students going to med school do majors in biochemistry or physiology specialists and stuff. That is not true. That's not how it works. You are going to take the major you're interested in. Turns out I was definitely not so interested in biochemistry. I'm glad I did not choose that major. I'm very happy in doing a human bio major, honestly. So do tend to know that. And another thing is course selection. There are courses that are hard. I'm going to really say that. You could sometimes, of course, you do your best and you still don't get the outcome you wanted. There are some courses like that. Two example I'll give is HMB 265 and then Stats 220. Those are two courses during the year. They tend to be very hard. Now, I'm not going to say they're impossible. You can do well, really. For me, though, they were hard. And one suggestion for both of those courses is take them during the summer, because most of you are going to do, you're in life sciences. That's why you're here. And most programs have a prerequisite of HMB 265. You need it. And then medical schools and dental schools, a lot of them have a prerequisite of stats. So you might want to take stats 220. What I'm going to suggest is take both of them during the summer, right after first year, or maybe after second year. That's your choice. I took stats right now in the summer, and I ended up with a 92. Had I taken it during the year, considering how bad I am in maths, I would probably have gotten a 70. And I'm going to be really honest there. So seriously, some of the courses you take during the summer, because that's the best option. And search about them, know about them very well before you take a course. There are a lot of optional courses that you can take instead of something. It's always best to know everything before you make a choice. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, so the one thing that I wish I knew was to basically look for syllabus for any course that you want to take and basically look at the course load and the structure of it. It really helps to know what you're getting yourself into prior to getting into that course. So that's one thing that I wish I knew, because I would honestly just blindly just go into a course and not care that much until I was really into it, and then I would just find out that, oh my god, it's gonna be super hard, or it's too content heavy, or the course load is just based on essays, because I personally am not really good at doing essays. So that's one thing that I wish I knew.
And then for me, something that I wish I knew was that it's okay not to know what major you want to do right away. At the end of your first year, it's okay if you don't know, because for a lot of us, we're not going to be taking any specific courses that are specific to a certain major. So, and especially within life sciences, there's a lot of flexibility and overlap between prerequisites. And so don't think that if you switch to another major, you're gonna have to take a whole other year. Usually you can just catch up in the summer, or throughout the year you might be able to. So I would say that's a big thing that I learned, to not be worried about that.
Oh yeah, specialist. Okay, so programs, there are different types. There's double major, and there's a major and double minor, and then there's a specialist. These are the most common ones. You can always switch them around. But one thing that I thought in first year, or because I heard it from people, was that specialist program is more prestige, more something you take that and you will easily get into med school. That's kind of the reason why I thought I was going to major in biochem or do a specialist in physiology or something. But I'm going to say that I have a lot of friends that took physiology specialist in the beginning, and then they switched to either a major or doing a major and double minor. Because you know what, specialist, there's no such thing as doing a specialist will get you into medical school or something. That is not how it works. Your GPA is all that they're going to see, and your GPA is going to come from courses that you take. Now, a lot of specialist programs, they have courses already laid out and fixed that you definitely have to take. Now, the problem is a lot of those courses are hard. personally, see, hard is a relative word because that depends from person to person. There are people that are going to do awesome in a course, and then there are people that are going to say that course was hard. Okay, so personally for me, there's a course, Physiology, PSL 372. It's a lab course, completely lab, and I don't think I was ready for a completely lab course because labs are they're uncertain. It's in terms of results, in terms of your reports. I wasn't sure. And that's a course like that is mandatory for specialists in physiology. So I decided I can't do that. I would much rather be flexible with my courses. And that's something that you can be a lot flexible with your courses if you're doing double majors or a major and a double minor, So check your programs and the courses that they have before you decide to get into them. But of course, like Sarah said, you can switch around. I have friends that took something else during the second year, and now we're in third year and we switched around our courses. That is totally fine. Okay, so don't be like all hard rock and set. You can switch around because especially in life sciences, like she said, they have a lot of course overlapping. So yeah, be ready for that.
So if that's good for like those questions, what we can do is answer the questions from the chat. If whoever wants to go.
How about we just go like one by one? I'll start and then everybody just answer one question on. So we've answered the first question, right? Like I think Sarah said, the level of your program, basically if you're taking third year, that's a 300 level course. In terms of schedule, is there anything like taking lectures, practical? Okay, that was done, right?
Yeah, I think if you're a varsity athlete.
Okay, if you're a varsity athlete, which takes about 20 hours per week, 5 courses is too much for most, absolutely. Are you then left with not being able to go to med school? No, that is definitely not a thing. I am here sitting with, I have taken 4 courses in my winter semester of first year. So obviously I'm out of the cut for weighted, but then there's one thing that I learned is for weighted GPA at U of T Med School, you can submit an academic explanation explaining to them why you couldn't do 5 courses, and if you're a varsity athlete, you can definitely write them in your academic explanation. And they might consider you for partial weighted GPA, or maybe full GPA at that point too. So really, there's a lot of options. Then there's for U of Ottawa. I think they say that if you take like 4 courses in one semester, you can take 1 more course in summer to make up for it. They allow that for once. But then again, like you said, varsity athlete, 5 courses is too much. There are courses, there are medical schools that tend to drop your lowest year as well. Or they only consider 2 years. Or they have a thing for like, they have a different multiplication GPA system. So that's not, that's totally your choice. You're just going to have to see kind of that if they specifically say that for their special weighted GPA system that you need 5 courses, then you're going to have to take 5 courses. But I recommend doing 3 hard courses and then 2 easy courses. No one's going to say anything to you. That is literally what I've been doing. It makes your course load a lot easier if you're doing that. There are courses that are pre-recorded, like I said, like asynchronous right now this year. There are so many courses like that. And if you're doing asynchronous, you can, whenever you get time during the year, you can do your notes. That's totally on you. So you get full control of what you want to do. So like consider those options in mind. If 5 is too much, just like I said, 3 hard courses, 2 bird courses. That's perfectly works. As long as you have 5, if it's really needed. I would definitely say look into med schools because a lot of them do say 5. Like I said, that might help you. You don't want to like be out of the run for many of the weighted system because you just didn't take the enough courses. Take bird courses, yeah. Okay.
Also, just keep in mind, like the 5 courses per semester, like 4 course load, it's not like a requirement, but the thing is that if you do that for the 4 years, that means that they will drop your lowest mark of each year, and that's at U of T. It might not be necessarily true for other schools, but a lot of people don't take 5 courses. They just do that because they know that some students have to take 5 courses every semester, like international students. So, and they know that it's harder because you don't get the like privilege of dropping a course and just taking it in the summer, or like just having 5 courses in general is a lot. So that's why they have like a different grading system in case you do take 5 courses. And so if you don't take 5 courses, they're not gonna drop your lowest mark, but like that's not necessarily like something you have to do.
Yeah, like what if you just ended up with a good GPA anyways, you know? You could take 4 courses and do really well in them. That is totally fine, you know? You won't need the weighted system then. So that's totally up to you. Okay. The med school one, does anyone want to take?
Well, for med school, is it really recommended to take physics like for MCAT? So you can definitely like study by yourself. There's so many resources online and like groups that help you study. So you don't have to take it, but if you do take it, it's definitely like it'll be a lot easier for you. So you don't have to do as much work by yourself then. And also, a lot of schools do ask for physics as a prerequisite. So I would just recommend taking it. And you only need to take 1 semester of physics, I'm pretty sure, for most med schools, but then depends like on each. So you can just take physics 131. You don't have to take 131 and 132. And 131 is offered both in fall and winter, so like you have time. And a lot of people take it in 4th year, but it is a class that does require a lot of work. It's not super hard, like you can definitely do good in it, but I know that some people take it later on, like in 4th year, and then sometimes it drops their GPA. So I would recommend just doing it in 1st year so you don't have to worry about it later on. But yeah, you can just take physics 131 and it'll help you. And it also helps with math 135. So yeah.
Yeah, physics 32 is actually easier than 131 as well. So like, you know, you choose, there's different, they have different syllabus for each. So check the syllabus and see which one you're good in. I personally was good in 132. You might be better in 131. Totally depends on you. But I also know a lot of medical students who got in without taking physics. So yeah, it's really, you know, you can use the Kaplan and the Princeton, whatever book you want to study for the MCAT, and they have pretty detailed notes about physics too. So if you've taken high school physics, I would say you're kind of good off.
Okay, the next question, while choosing a course timing, does it depend on what professor we want or no? So for that question, it's, I think what somebody was referring to before was that if you see multiple professors for one section, that just means that they switch throughout the course. So you might have like the first professor for the first like third of the course and then the other professor in the other one. But for sometimes it's like different sections have different professors, then that means that if you take the morning section or the morning lecture, you'll have one prof versus like the night evening lecture, you'll have a different prof. So that's what that means.
So for the next question, I think it's the same. Like for Chem 135, let's say one course timing had many different professors. So how does it depend on us on choosing what professor we want? So yeah, it's the same. You will have all those professors because it's not like in high school where you have one prof for like one course. Here you'll see many profs, but they change depending on the course, like the different sections. So if you see lecture like 0101 in a list of professors, those are all the professors you will have in that section. But then there might be like lecture 0201 and then another list of professors. So those are all the professors you will have. But yeah, that list is, you will have all of those, but sometimes they do change and sometimes the same professors for different sections. But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, like example, Chem 136, organic chemistry. I took the morning section, and the morning section had 3 profs listed in it. What basically happened is the first part was by one prof, the second part of that same course was by another prof, and then the third part by another prof. Like it's like divided by thermodynamics and no, that's not an organic, sorry. It's divided by the different topics. Some profs do some topic and some do the other topics. It doesn't mean you choose. You only get to choose between different timings. Like say there's a morning course and then there's an evening course. Like for Bio 130, there was morning. Morning was taught by 2 profs. The course was divided into 2 parts. part one by Professor Melody Newman and part two by Professor Yip. But then the evening one only had one prof, and that was Professor Yip, and he taught both part one and part two. So you get to choose between timing. That's when you might have a choice between the prof. But if it's like the same timing, you don't get a choice between the professors. Like they're just like different professors for the same course.
And for the next question, do you guys have time to do research, volunteer / work or related experiences during school year or summer? Okay, for this one, I think you definitely have a lot of time in your hand, but like, I wouldn't say a lot of time, but I think you have enough time to work on yourself as well. Because personally, I'm an artist, so I really like to take like at least 2 or 3 days hiatus to like just work on my art. And I definitely have that time, even if I'm taking 5 courses. I'm still able to make time for myself. But one thing to note over here, you're only gonna be able to make time for yourself if you're doing everything on time, like as it comes. For example, if you have a midterm, you have to be going to all your lectures, you have to be making your notes every single day, and only then you will get some time to yourself. If you're like slacking off and putting all your work till the midterm or till the due date, then it's not going to work out like that. So you've got to be very careful with that. And with the research opportunities, I think for research opportunities, it's based on student experiences, right? So it's all worked around the students. So like all their schedules, all their timings. So it's probably going to be later in the evening. Most research opportunities that I know of are sort of like later in the evening or very early in the morning. So it's basically very easy to find time for them.
Yeah, I here during the year at the hospitals, and I definitely had time to do it. You know, I fitted it in between. Then for research, just a suggestion: start emailing a lot of your professors and doctors beforehand. And if you email 4 people, don't expect a reply or to get in with 4. You might have to email like, I don't know, 20, 30 people and then expect 1 reply. Keep your expectations a bit low. But yeah, start emailing early. And you get time. You just need to like she said, Filzah said, you need to be on time and, you know, not slacking off. That's how time management is very important, especially at U of T. It's very, very important. And, you know, you hear it a lot that if you slack off, it's going to catch up on you, but you don't realize it until it really happens to you. So seriously, last minute work is very hard and it really stresses your brain.
Yeah, I agree. So like personally for me, in first year it was a little bit hard to like get involved with a lot of like extracurriculars as well as like volunteering and stuff. But I did do part-time work during my first year and second year, and I would say it was a little overwhelming at times, but definitely volunteering, like once or twice a week, I think is doable and manageable. Again, if you have that time management. And then in terms of research, it is quite hard. Like after, like obviously first year, most people don't have research opportunities, but for second year and third year, some people don't know about this, but there's research opportunity program, which it's a course, it's a full year course, and you can basically sign up, and then you have to do a short application, and if you get accepted, you get to do research under that prof for the year. So that's really cool because you get to like do it as a course, but also get that research experience. So I would really recommend looking into that, and you have to apply pretty early for that, like the semester before. So definitely look into that if you're looking for research experience.
Yeah, it's called ROP 299 and ROP 399. So look into the requirements for ROPs, and there are a lot of projects, but their timing is like, for the summer, you need to have your application in by, I think, January or maximum February. And then for the winter semester, whatever, the deadline's usually in May or June. So like check out the deadlines, they pass away pretty quickly. And the earlier you apply is kind of the better. But yeah, also for ROP, it works around your schedule. But research during the year and research during the summer is kind of different. Research during the year, professors, like they tend to be very lenient and give you like a working space, like maybe couple of hours during every week. But during the summer, it's especially for research in hospitals and stuff, they have a fixed timetable, like from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. They kind of tend to have that, like Sick Kids Hospital, for St. Michael's Hospital, and for UHN as well. This is their program kind of working during the summer because they want you to be in it for full time. But like, I think it's really good if you get in. So during the summer, you have a lot of time. Okay, we can go on to the next question. I haven't been in an FLC, so if any of you guys have.
Yeah, I've been on an FLC. It was the life science one for University College first year. It does help you like make connections and make friends, but it is like an hour and a half, I think, of your week every other week. And you do have like workshops where you do like I don't know how to apply for research, how to like get in contact with professors, or like some good resources, or just like how to take care of your mental health. Or sometimes it's just like you go somewhere, like you might go to the aquarium or something like that. It's good. It might look good on your like resume, it might not. It might be helpful for you. It depends if you're somebody who really needs to be in contact with other people. But I feel like it's something like what you learn there, it's also something that you could learn with like by yourself outside, by going to academic seminars or just like workshops organized by EFT clubs around. But it does like allow you to meet upper year students as well, and like just they help you make your schedule. So like they will do your schedule once you're accepted. They will like they will schedule for you bio, math, and chem. So you don't have to take care of that. You only have to take 2 more courses after that. So that's why I took it, because they do your schedule for you. But I definitely did get a lot of things out of it. And also you have like a head professor who comes and talks to you and like gives you tips. So that's also like very interesting. And also you get a new contact. But it's like, it's really up to you if you like a lot of teamwork stuff. But yeah.
Res, I wasn't in res. Any of you guys?
Yeah, I was in residence first year as well. Based on your experience with res, do you think moving to residence for winter 2021, even with online classes, will be worth it, or would it be wiser to save money and stay at home? I think I personally really enjoyed the like being in res, just because I did not know a single person in the city since I'm international. So that was a way of having contacts, especially like emergency contacts with your dons, and just making friends and just like meeting people. Especially this year, since a lot of courses are going to be online, it's going to be a little bit harder to meet people. So you really want to like just be outgoing and meet people. I would recommend being in the res. That being said, it is a bit expensive, but also like living downtown is a bit expensive in general. But if money is something you're worried about, I would definitely recommend just staying at home, since most courses are going to be online anyways. But I did enjoy being in residence for my first year at least. I would not be in residence again, but it depends on your financial situation, and also if you're like an active learner and need to go to class, then I would definitely recommend being on campus. But if you're pretty good at managing your own time and being like professional, then staying at home would probably be wiser, because then you wouldn't have to commute this year at least. So yeah, it's really up to you.
Pandemic going on right now, so like our answers are gonna be different. But honestly, if there was no pandemic and this was a regular year, then I would definitely say, I was a commuter first year, so I would say being on res during first year would have been really worth it, because you get to make a lot more friends. But right now, you know, if you're commuting, it's kind of hard, you know, with all the with the chances of getting the virus and everything, so you're kind of safer at home. But then again, if you feel like you really need to be in contact with new people, because there are going to be some people on campus, you know, there's going to be some international students, there are going to be students who live there in downtown and everything. People tend to move out of residence in second year, but they stay there in first year, so you have those chances of meeting people, even though they're going to be less. And also you have a chance of going to the in-person classes if you want to. So, you know, you can save money if that's like something that's a problem right now. I would say stay home. But if money's not an issue, then you can go, and, you know, being in person in a class of 20 people means you get to meet the prof as well. Because for us, we used to have classes of 1,000 or like 500 students in the con hall. And that's like impossible to meet the professor there. So that's also one thing you guys in-person classes might have a benefit right now.
Yeah, like personally, I am enrolled in a few in-person classes for the fall and winter because like I really want to get the opportunity to like talk to the professors and like ask questions in person, especially if you're shy or like you don't want to like type it in the chat, or like being in person might help you. So I would say for that reason, moving in might be more beneficial for you. But at the same time, yeah, as Danae and Ashitija said, like based on your financial situation, if that's like really important right now, then staying at home is like a good option as well.
Okay, I'll take the next one. Why do some courses still not have the professor listed on the timetable? That is them really slacking off. I mean, even half of my courses don't have a professor. Sometimes it's that professors have not decided if they're going to do that course or not, especially now it's even more delayed. And it takes time for them to show up, but you don't have to worry about that, seriously. Some of the courses don't have in first year, a lot of the courses don't have much options in professors. I think it's just some evening thing, and you can always switch around later on. First year courses tend to have a lot of seats and everything. So like it's not like the seats are going to get full. You don't have to worry about that in first year. So yeah, you're just going to have to wait. It's just U of T being slow. That's the reason I can possibly think of.
If you really want to know like who the professor is, it's probably the same as last year. So you could just search like who it was for last year and it would probably show up.
Yeah, go to rate my professor and like try checking out there. People tend to rate the professor in specific courses as well, so you can always check out.
Okay.
For the FLC question, after I'm pre-enrolled in courses, can I change the time the course is taken on, or is it mandatory to take the time that the FLC pre-enrolled me in? So yeah, you can definitely change. They just do it that like they pre-enroll you because they enroll all the people from that FLC group in the same courses because they want you to like be together and like have courses together, so you create a community. But you can definitely change them, especially for like tutorials, because they also enroll you in the same tutorial. But if that time is not convenient for you, like you don't have to stay in it. Like do whatever is best for you. You don't have to stick with it. I kept the times for the courses just because they usually give you good times. But I did change my tutorials, I remember, because it was just not convenient. And also if you want to be in a tutorial with another friend, then you can always just change and like be with whoever you want to be. So I recommend changing the tutorial if you want to. I'm thinking I can change the timing of a couple. So how does that affect, or does that even change anything in regards to being in FLC? So it does not change anything at all in regards to being in the FLC, because you're still taking the course. Again, they just do it for like purely social aspects, but it doesn't affect at all anything with the FLC. You might have to ask. I don't even think you have to ask or like let them know. You can just change it on Acorn on the course enrollment page. So yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. Is there any other question?
No, I think that was a really good set of questions. Thank you to all the panelists for very, very detailed answers. We are going to be posting this, so if you missed something or you like to hear something that someone said again, we can always watch that over. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you for the panelists for giving all these amazing answers. And yeah, thank you. And hopefully,
one more just a thing. If you guys have a question, like you want to ask something you figure out later, we're a part of the Scientista team. So you can go on Facebook, you can go on our website, you can go on Instagram, just send us a DM, and one of us will definitely answer a question. So like, don't worry about that. Or you can even search us up on Facebook or anything and hit us up, and we'll be happy to answer your questions later regarding what courses to take, what professors, or anything like that. So yeah, we're open to that too.
Okay.
Wait, somebody recording, where is it being posted?
It's gonna be on the YouTube. I suggest that you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, because when all the uploadings are recorded, we'll like post about it.
Yeah, and there's one question from Ezra.
Ezra, if you have a question, do you want to maybe message the Scientista chat?
Yeah.
So we don't take too much of everyone's time.
Or you turn on your mic and say if you really want to. Anything you want, anything you're comfortable with.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.